Okay.
Hello, my name is Katrina and I'm speaking for the boat Aurora. If you are seeing this video, we have been attacked, or intercepted and abducted by the IOS. Please contact your governments and all of our government representatives to demand our safe return. And free Palestine.
Palestina libre.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Brothers and sisters, the seas have become a battlefield once again. Not of armies clashing with tanks and fighter jets, but of ordinary men and women sailing wooden boats filled not with weapons, but with food, medicine, and hope. The global Sumud Flotilla, a fleet of nearly 50 vessels, set out with one mission: to break through the siege of Gaza and deliver aid to a people starved not only of bread, but of dignity. And what happened? Drones, explosions, naval blockades, the shadow of war hanging over the Mediterranean. Some ships disabled, others boarded, their crews handcuffed and dragged away. The question that now shakes the conscience of the world is this: was this interception a lawful act of self-defense, or a crime against international law committed in international waters? And while the boats are seized, something else is happening across Europe. Protests, strikes, blockades of ports and airports, roads jammed, universities occupied, workers refusing to load goods. The cry is rising: let Gaza live, let the blockade end, let the flotilla sail free. This is not a story of ships. This is a story of law, morality, and the clash between power and principle. And today, we dive deep into what happened, why it matters, and what comes next. The global Sumud Flotilla was not just another humanitarian convoy. It was a civil society movement. Activists, doctors, engineers, students, even families, who raised their own funds, sailed under their own flags, and declared openly, "We are not smugglers. We are not soldiers. We are witnesses." They carried wheat, insulin, antibiotics, baby formula, and water purifiers. But more than that, they carried a message: that the blockade of Gaza is itself a form of warfare, slowly choking the lives of 2 million people. From the moment they set sail, they were met with obstacles. In Tunisian ports, explosions ripped through the decks. Activists claimed drones targeted their vessels. Local authorities downplayed the reports. The flotilla insisted this was sabotage. Still, they patched the holes, shifted crews, and pressed on, until, as they drew within a few hundred nautical miles of Gaza, the shadow of the Israeli Navy appeared on the horizon. On October 1st, reports confirmed that 13 ships were intercepted by Israeli naval forces. Among those detained, activists from across Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Even Greta Thunberg, the climate activist, was reportedly on board one of the vessels. Eyewitnesses described the scene: warships encircling the small aid boats, loudspeakers blaring commands in Hebrew and English, commandos descending from ropes, people screaming, hands tied, and the aid itself seized. Israel's defense ministry declared, "These ships will not reach Gaza. Aid can be delivered via secure land crossings. These flotillas are provocations, and we will not allow threats to our security." But the flotilla organizers respond, "The blockade itself is illegal. Delivering aid through the oppressor is not aid, it is complicity." Here lies the burning question: Israel claims it was enforcing a naval blockade, which under international law, specifically the San Remo Manual on Armed Conflicts at Sea, can be considered legal if declared, effective, and not targeting civilians disproportionately. But critics argue collective punishment. Gaza is not a hostile navy, it is a civilian population. To choke its food and medicine supply is collective punishment, outlawed under the 4th Geneva Convention. Location of the interception. Many reports confirm that the interception occurred in international waters, far from Israel's coast. That transforms a blockade into what some international lawyers call piracy under state flag. Humanitarian mandate. When aid is purely humanitarian and non-violent, international law grants safe passage. By stopping it, Israel is violating the very principles it claims to uphold. In short, even if a blockade can be argued lawful in war, the Gaza blockade is not war. It is strangulation. And seizing ships in international waters opens the door to charges of illegality at the International Criminal Court. The activists are now detained. Israel claims they will be processed, questioned, and deported. Some could face charges for aiding a terrorist entity. Imagine this. Doctors carrying insulin for children are branded terrorists. Students who chant "Free Gaza" are treated like smugglers. An old fisherman who volunteered to sail across the sea is shackled like a criminal. The world watches and many ask, if this is legal, what hope is left for justice? And now, the ripple effect. Across Europe, a wave of outrage has begun. Dockworkers in Spain and Italy refuse to load Israeli goods. Protesters block roads in Paris and Berlin. In Athens, activists occupy the harbor, declaring, "If the flotilla cannot dock in Gaza, no ship from Israel will dock here." Some airports have faced partial shutdowns due to solidarity strikes. Supermarkets in parts of Ireland and Belgium are seeing boycotts spread. Social media is exploding with hashtags demanding accountability. For the first time in decades, we are witnessing not just protests in the streets, but coordinated economic resistance, workers, unions, and students rising together. So, where do we stand now? The flotilla's ships are largely seized. Dozens of activists are detained in Israel. Gaza remains under blockade. And yet, the story has broken the silence. Whether Israel likes it or not, the global Sumud flotilla has achieved something monumental. It has put the blockade back in the headlines, back in the conscience of the world. International law experts are now debating whether lawsuits can be filed. Some governments are pressing Israel for explanations. The UN Security Council faces renewed calls for a resolution on the Gaza blockade. And most importantly, ordinary people around the globe are waking up. They are asking, if a bag of wheat cannot pass through the sea without being called a weapon, then what has the world become? Brothers and sisters, this is not just about boats. It is about the future of law, justice, and human dignity. If the sea is closed, the land is closed, and the sky is bombed, then where do the people of Gaza go? The flotilla may have been stopped, but its message sails on, that even against warships, drones, and political betrayal, there are still people willing to risk their lives for justice. And so I ask you, what side of history will you be on? The side that looked away, or the side that raised its voice, its hand, its soul for the oppressed? Because when the next flotilla sets sail, and it surely will, the waves will remember who stood for freedom and who stood for silence.
Hello, my name is James Hickey.
Fabrizio.
Yaşar.
Julie.
Silvia.
Paolo.
Abdulsamit.
Ruggero.
Biz Gazze'ye giden Seul'le gemisinde bulunan gönüllüleriz.
Se vedete questo video significa che siamo stati attaccati.
Oppure siamo stati intercettati da Israele e rapiti.
Biz tamamen şiddetsiz insani bir görev yapıyoruz ve uluslararası hukuka uygun şekilde davranıyoruz.
Abbiamo l'appoggio di persone da tutto il mondo.
Bitte mobilisiert, macht Druck auf eure Regierungen und fordert unsere sofortige Freilassung.
Grazie.